If it's your first time hearing about these settings, you might be like, aha, this is where the magic happens. Medium.com is a popular and highly trusted website. Because of this, it can be a great vehicle for boosting your SEO efforts. This is a comprehensive guide on how you can do SEO on Medium and how you can make your stories rank high on Google and other search engines' results pages. If you're new to Medium, I highly recommend checking out my complete guide on how to write on Medium. I've left a link to the video in the description. But without wasting any more of your time, let's jump into it. So first and foremost, why on earth is Medium.com good for SEO? Well, when it comes to ranking high on Google, you need a website that is highly trusted by Google and that has content that covers a particular niche in a very thorough and concise manner. In other words, the website needs to have tons of blog posts and information about the particular topic. Well, Medium.com is exactly that. It's a popular website with tens of millions of blog posts. And thanks to this, Medium is a highly credible and trusted website in the eyes of Google and other search engines. For instance, let's take a look at how many times the word gardening appears on Medium.com. As you can see, the number is almost 100,000 times. In other words, when it comes to the coverage, Medium has a high topical authority in the gardening niche. Basically, what this means is that you have a greater chance for ranking high on gardening related topics on Google by writing a blog post on Medium than, for example, if you were to write a blog post on a brand new domain that has no gardening related blog posts at all. And by the way, the gardening example is just there to illustrate how well Medium has covered many topics, so this is just one of the millions of niches out there. But now, before we move on to the SEO side of things on Medium, remember that Medium.com is not a shortcut to success when it comes to ranking high on Google. To get your stories rank high, you need to write a blog post that is well researched, well thought, informative, useful, unique, original, and whatnot. It also needs to be very long and detailed. In other words, if you want your Medium story to rank high, it needs to be the best result for a search query on the entire internet. And unfortunately, these days there is no way around it. So you basically can't just be like, well, this blog post is not that great, but as long as I publish it on Medium, it will do well. No, that's not how it works anymore. These days, SEO is more about people and less about search engines. As a matter of fact, I believe, and my experiences show, that you don't need to even know what SEO means if you want to rank high on Google these days. At this point, I would like to invite you to check my free blogging masterclass. I've left a link to it in the description. In this masterclass, I teach you everything you need to know to start a successful blog this year. Now, how do you do effective SEO strategies on Medium? Well, let me show you. First of all, you need to choose a topic carefully. So instead of writing short posts that are good for Medium audience, you need to actually write blog posts that solve problems in a particular niche that people are actually searching for on Google. So if you think about your Medium feed, you will see a ton of short 1 minute, 2 minute, or 3 minute stories that you didn't know in advance that you want to read. But when you're searching for something on Google, you know exactly what's your problem and you're just looking for solutions. And this is the audience type you want to target with your Medium stories if you want to do it the SEO way. And in my opinion, the best way to come up with a topic for a Medium story that ranks high on Google is by using Google suggestions. So just open up Google and type in something related to a niche. These suggestions that show up are great blog post topic candidates that you might want to write about. And by the way, unlike on your own blog, you can choose whatever niche you like. Google won't be confused if you write about cats today and about rocket science tomorrow. That doesn't really matter. This is because, as I stated earlier, Medium has covered many topics and is a high topical authority in most of the niches you can imagine. In this sense, no matter which topic you choose, you always have a greater chance for ranking high than if you were starting a brand new website today. With a list of topics in your hands, it is time to start writing the blog post. Remember, if you want to rank high on Google, your blog post needs to be the best piece of content about that topic on the entire internet. But how on earth do you know what is the best post? Just analyze the search results for that topic. So Google your topic up, open up the top 10 search results and see what's common in those. This gives you valuable free data of what Google considers the best solution to that particular topic or problem. So for example, let's say that there are lots of blog posts in the top 10 search results that are 3,000 words in length and have 20 images in them. Now your goal is to write a 5,000 word blog post with 30 images in it. And also remember that it's not exact science and it's not about word counts or image counts. It is all about providing value and being actually useful and original. So you need to make sure that every word actually counts and that the blog post is not full of jargon. So for example, if your competitor has written a blog post about 10 best AI tools, you should write a blog post about 15 best AI tools and actually try out those tools before you write. This way you provide actual value and do something more than your competitors have already done. And that's the key to success on Google, no matter which platform you use, whether it's Medium or your own blog. And by the way, when you're writing your blog post, make sure to structure it nicely so that it's easy to skim through as well as read through thoroughly. So include headings, subheadings, tables, bulleted lists, images, and whatnot. And also use simple language so that an 8th grader can understand your content. Don't try to outsmart your readers. But hey, this is not a writing tutorial, and I have actually made a separate video about how you can write epic blog posts, so make sure to check that out. I've left a link to it in the description. Now when it comes to using images in your blog post, do not use those unsplash images that Medium allows you to choose. While there's absolutely nothing wrong in that if you want to find success on Medium, if you want to do it the SEO way and rank high on Google and other search engines, you should use your own images that nobody else has used before. By reusing stock imagery, you're just repeating content that is already there, and Google hates it. Take your own images into your blog posts. You can use your cell phone. Google will love blog posts the more unique and original content it has. After all, it's all for your readers. If you add original images that actually support the learning and understanding your message, you're on the right track. I've made a separate video about how you can use images in your blog posts effectively. Make sure to check that one out as well. As the next tip, always specify alt texts to your images on Medium. This is very easy to do. Just click on the image and set the alt text. And if you're new to the concept of alt texts, it is basically just a short description of what you see in the image. The alt text is super important. It makes the blog post accessible to people that are not reading your blog posts, but instead listening through them. For instance, these could be visually impaired people, or those could be people that are jogging, for example, and just listening through blog posts instead of reading them. And now you're probably wondering as to what makes a good alt text, and that's really simple. Just describe what you see in the image with a couple of words. It's like you should describe it over a phone to somebody very quickly. For instance, a good alt text might be something like a gray cat standing in the middle of the field during sunset. This gives a great idea of what's happening in the image for somebody who's listening to your blog post. Next up, here's where it gets interesting. You may or may not know that Medium actually allows you to tweak the SEO settings of your blog posts. If it's your first time hearing about these settings, you might be like, aha, this is where the magic happens. But unfortunately, that's not the case. As a matter of fact, tweaking these SEO settings will have little to no impact on your blog post success. But for sure, those settings are very easy to understand and tweak, so it might be worthwhile to invest 30 seconds to it. So basically there are 3 main options available: the SEO title, the SEO description, and the URL of the blog post. If you open up your blog post SEO settings, you'll probably notice that the title and the description are by default longer than they should be. If you want to, you can make these shorter to fit into the character range that is allowed on Google. But remember, these are automatically chosen for you, and if you have written a good title to your blog post, and if the content is good already, Google will find a perfect description and the title to your blog post without you having to worry about it. Next up, this is what I think is more important, is the URL of the blog post. So by default, the URL looks terrible. In an ideal world, every blog post URL should be descriptive enough so that people would actually know what the blog post is all about only by looking at the URL. And this is what you can do on Medium's SEO settings. Just tweak the URL and make it something that describes your story. Now, unfortunately, because there are so many authors on Medium, Medium has to add some extra characters and numbers towards the end of every blog post URL. There's really no way around this, and it's going to happen even if you tweaked your URL settings. So just don't worry about it. And hey, we're almost there, but there's one more really important thing you need to make sure of. So if you write a blog post on Medium and publish it on a publication, it actually goes under a different domain most of the time. So for instance, there is a popular publication called Better Programming. If you write a coding article and publish it on Better Programming's publication, you are not publishing it on medium.com, but you're publishing it on betterprogramming.pub instead, which is a completely different domain. And this is what you don't want if you want to do Medium SEO. So you want to make sure that your blog post is actually published on medium.com, not in any other domain. In other words, self-publish your blog posts unless the publication doesn't have a separate domain name. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day.